Welcome one, welcome all to DeFi Crypto and Airdrops. I am Mike, aka Veteran Crypto, and with me as always is Jeff from the Blockchain Report. How's it going, brother?
It is going fantastic. Today is my last day before my 2 months off of work. So it was kind of hectic having to hand off a bunch of designs and stuff. But now that all I need to do is drop my equipment off tomorrow, and I got 2 months of, unemployment. So I'll be heading to Florida for my cousin's wedding on Thursday for the weekend, and then visit some family in the Carolinas for about a week and a half, and then yeah, it'll be nice getaway. How about
Nice.
yourself?
Doing all right. Just getting the property in order, getting ready for winter, and actually planning a trip. Looking at potentially gonna load up my cat and some stuff, and thinking about heading down to Texas to visit family for a while, or got a couple other options I'm looking at. But
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
just I like to break up the
Little
winter.
road trip.
Well, just I like to break up the winter sometimes. Up here, I mean, it gets like 30 below in January, February. And I told you about how the pump house blew up, that one Christmas weekend.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, just I don't mind the cold, but like it's already like we've already had one snow here, and so you figure November, December, January, February, March, that's like 5 months of cold and snow. So I
Oh.
need to get up out of here for a minute, but
Give the joints some warmth.
but
Give the
I need
joints
to.
some warmth.
I got my grandparents and my parents and my brother and his family and a bunch of people down in Texas, and I need to get
Oh,
down there
wow.
some more. So I mean, my grandpa's like 96, 97 now, so he's
Damn.
yeah. So and I love that guy. He's the one that kind of inspired me to come up here and do this. He's always been kind of a frontiersman, and so he's kind of my muse.
Oh, nice. Man, that's
Well,
that's a nice long life, man.
oh yeah, no, and he's still going. I mean, he's a little slower, but he still gets out on the property and does work. And
Hell yeah.
oh yeah, Jay, Puerto Rico. I'm seriously contemplating buying a place in Puerto Rico. My aunt lives down there and owns a couple businesses. I actually have a bunch of family in San Juan and the surrounding area. So I'm actually thinking about selling my place in Hawaii and buying a place there if crypto will ever treat me right. So so yeah, I mean, why don't you introduce the socials real quick? And I actually got quite a bit. We pulled an audible. We were going to do a deep dive on something, but there is just a ton of alpha out there on Base Network, on the new Base app that's launching here in a couple of weeks. The potential
Hmm.
for a Base token, potential airdrops, just all kinds of different things going on. So why don't you kick us off with the socials, and then we'll jump right into it.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate all of you for joining us here on this beautiful Tuesday. Hopefully, it's warm wherever you're at and nice weather. But here at DeFi Crypto and Airdrops, where me and Mike go live every Tuesday and Friday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. And if you're on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, join us on the YouTube channel here and join us in the chat. A lot of good talk in the chat. So if you feel left out, come over and join us here. And Mike also goes live several times throughout the week with Money Talks on Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific with an estate lawyer or estate attorney and lawyer, Taylor, and certified financial planner, Texas Jeff. So
Texas.
you get two Jeffs on the channel.
That's right.
3 days a week.
My name's Jeff.
Um, My name's Jeff. And they just launched an incredible website called DeFi Wise, where DeFi, TradFi, and wealth preservation strategists meet. So it just launched today, you said, right?
I just made it go live today. Basically, I'll summarize it real quick. So
Hmm.
a lot of people in the community have been asking for a newsletter, wanting some advanced strategies and ways to preserve wealth. Because I mean, it's one thing to make a bunch of money in crypto, but it's another to keep it. And so what we wanted to do is give people options. So, obviously I'm into DeFi. We have David and some other people that are very knowledgeable about DeFi. We offer DeFi University on here. I'm going to be talking to him about potentially giving some discounts. Out of our finder's fee, kind of the affiliate deal. Basically take a smaller piece for ourselves and give you all a better deal. So we're going to be talking to him about that. Metrics Finance, there's currently a 20% off the elite package that you can take advantage of. And then we have the newsletter. So for just under $20 a month, you get a daily newsletter that gives all of the alpha on traditional finance, crypto, decentralized finance, and wealth preservation strategies from Taylor and Jeff and me and the whole team. So, and then of course, as we move forward,
This is a little
we'll
sneak
be,
peek.
yeah, I mean, that was a rough draft. I've tuned it up since then, but yeah, that's basically what you're going to be looking at is, it's going to give you ranges. Like if you want to trade, it will give you, ranges to look at. If you are wanting to set ranges for pools, we're going to be giving some, what we would, select for ranges for that. There's just going to be a lot of really, really good content that really is just, it boils down. It's stuff that you could probably find and figure out on your own. But for those of you that are busy and you don't have the time to search all this stuff out, it's just for those busy people that want it boiled down into a nice, neat package that they can just get
Hmm.
up in the morning, have their coffee, look at it, set their ranges, adjust their ranges, do whatever they want to do, and then off they go to work and handle their day. So that's really what the newsletter's for. And then, of course, using it in conjunction with DeFi University and Metrics Finance, you can
Hmm.
call Taylor and work with him. If you're down in
Here.
Texas, he can actually do your will, your trust, a trust, help you form a small business and use it for tax mitigation strategies, things like that. Ways to mitigate your tax your tax liabilities. There's just going to be so much that we're going to be offering. Right now, for the most part, it's just access to the Metrics Finance DeFi University and the newsletter. So anyway, that's my little sales
Awesome.
pitch. Self promotion over.
No, that's great. And that's the biggest thing we're trying to do here is bring you stuff that other channels and people in the crypto space aren't bringing you. Traditional finance, law experts, and DeFi experts that's why Mike has the Money Talks on Monday, the DeFi Masterclass on Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Pacific with David and Jake. And like he said, the Metrics Finance, using all the links in the description below, and the DeFi University, you get, if you do the yearly plan on Metrics Finance, you can get $200 off, and they also have monthly plans. But they start free.
And I highly suggest. I was talking to somebody right before we went live. If
Mhm.
you're worried about the price, which I know things are tight for everybody right now, use the free one. Learn
Yeah.
how to use it. Go to Metrics Finance on YouTube. Watch the tutorials. Figure out how to use it first. If you're only using a couple $100 to do DeFi, this the free version is fine. Once you realize that it is it is making you more money than it's going to cost you. So like if you're making, if it's saving you more than $50 a month, then get the $50 a month plan. If it's saving you
Hmm.
more than $100 a month, get the $100 plan. It just you want to make sure that, of course, full disclosure, we make a little bit of money if you sign up. I only want you to sign up if it's valuable to you. If it's not
Hmm.
valuable to you, or you use something else and it works great for you, that is awesome. We're just looking for ways to bring you guys value and you girls value. And of course, we're trying to gear up our end to where we can make a little bit of money on the side to help us grow the channel and bring better content to you all. Because for the past year, me and Jeff have been doing this all out of pocket. We
Bootstrap.
haven't made we haven't made and actually we haven't cashed out a single dollar yet for ourselves. Everything that we've made has gone back into the channel. So we really are just trying to build a really great community, like Jeff was talking about in the Discord. Great community of people that are always willing to help. They keep the scammers out. I mean, it's just
it's free.
And all of it's free. We always have free options. The DeFi University. You can use the DeFi Academy on our YouTube channel to learn the basics. There's some free content in DeFi University, and it's only $97 if you want to join. Per month. You get daily live calls with David and the rest of the community. There's just so much value. So that's what we're trying to do, is just bring value to you. So anyway.
Yeah.
I don't full time,
and
showing our.
Like you said, the DeFi Academy is a great place to start if you are just getting started in DeFi. I mean, he's got a dozen episodes, and the DeFi Masterclass is incredible. Like that's thousands and thousands of dollars of value that these guys are given for free on these episodes, and like Mike was saying with Metrics Finance, start with the free version and check out the secret weapon of pro DeFi traders, because they dive deep into some of the new features that Metrics Finance has implemented, and just showing you how powerful of a tool, the portfolio tracker and manager it is. So you can check all of that out for free before you even spend a dime. So it's, we want you to be educated first before you start throwing money around, and find value in it. And if it works for you, sign up, and please let us know if it helps. We're always looking to find testimonials and make sure that what we're doing is providing value for everyone. And because we always want to fine tune and make sure that we're not just wasting time for ourselves and you as well. We don't want to come on here and just spout nonsense and find out nobody's getting any value.
Exactly. So let's go ahead and jump right on into this.
And the Twitters. So check out our Twitter here at the _only_DCA. Catch Vet at Veteran4Crypto and me at the BCR142. And also we're on Pump.fun streaming, and our brother channels right here. Jake Call's got his DeFi income. Blockchain Basement, Discover Crypto, DeFi University, and also Metrics Finance has a YouTube channel as well. So check out Metrics Finance on there. And
that's where all those tutorials are.
Yeah. So
hey, Indica Wolf.
Indica. That's my cat's name. Indica.
What? Oh, never mind. Here we go. All right. So, if you want to sign up for the newsletter, Indica, just come here on the homepage and just hit subscribe, and it will bring you right to here, and you can sign up. Just takes a couple of clicks, and you'll be in. We're actually going to start sending it out tomorrow morning. So if you're interested. All right, let's get into the alpha. I'm freaking excited about this.
Yeah.
All right. So base token is coming. Now, this isn't official, but this is Mario Nufal. Those of you that aren't familiar, huge name in crypto Twitter. Drew over at the Blockchain Basement and Discover Crypto, very, very close friend of the channel. He has his fingers and with everybody. I was about to say in everybody, but he has his fingers all over the place. Mm-hmm. So he does a Twitter Spaces with Mario Nufal all the time, with him, Kelly, and a bunch of other people. So he is very plugged in to what is going on, and this is what he posted. It could be, the base token is coming. It could be one of the biggest airdrops of 2025 or 2026. Here's everything you should know and how to prepare. Base already has 1 million plus active addresses and 9.1 billion in TVL. A token would help fund growth and decentralize the network. Possible utilities: staking to secure the chain, governance, voting like you do with Aerodrome, developer and creator incentives, maybe even gas payments later. What an airdrop could look like based on history. Arbitrum and Optimism set the playbook. Here's what Base might require. So basically, performing tasks and stuff, all the stuff that Jeff talks about when he, does airdrops, using, bridging liquidity, all those sorts of things. So, using Uniswap, using Aerodrome, using different platforms, Morpho, things like that. If you have an account on Coinbase, maybe, it's basically for using the Base network. Moving value on it, moving value off of it and onto it, all those different things potentially could earn you an airdrop. Excuse me. Engaging it on socials, so registering a .base name, being active on Farcaster, using apps like Zora. Zora is one of those projects that has seen a lot of price appreciation, over the past couple months. What else? So Base has 20 million monthly users. If 15 to 20% of supply goes to the airdrop, you would see rewards between $500 and $5,000 per wallet, similar or bigger than Arbitrum. Not bad. Final note: nothing here is official, just analysis based on past airdrops and Base's data. But if the Base token launches, you'll be glad you were here early and active. So basically, what I took from that, hold on, let me.
Is there anything about providing liquidity on Base?
What's that?
Was there anything about providing liquidity on Base?
Well, that would be using Morpho, using Aerodrome, all those things.
Yeah.
Just like how I've gotten like 2 or 3 different airdrops just for having Aerolocks. Speaking of which, before I forget, I will pull up Aerodrome because this is something that you're all going to want to do tomorrow. I mean, you could do it now if you wanted. So tomorrow, before 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, if you want to get this, there's this new thing called Aero Ignition. So there's certain projects, and right now there's one on this lit key. You can go, and if you have locks, you can vote on this. They've allotted 51 million tokens to be basically as incentives for anybody that votes to provide liquidity to jumpstart this pool. So I actually pulled my VE Aero Maxi Relay lock, my flight school bonus that I left in there. I actually pulled that out, and so that I could use both of my initial investment and that one to vote for it. So
nice.
I'm actually I expect that we're going to start seeing a lot more of these because this Aero Ignition is new. This is the second one I've seen. The first one that I got was like $500 when it was first airdrop, $500, and it actually got up to where it's $900 at one point. I held on to it too long. I thought it was an interesting project, and so I thought I was going to, game the system and hold on to it, and it was going to keep going higher, and I was going to have a little bag that I could DeFi and do my thing, take the 800 and turn it into 8,000 thing that I always talk about. Didn't work out that way. I should have just cashed it out. But that being said, you might want to look at voting on this. Last we looked, I believe it was Indica Wolf posted. Actually, I'll show it because I like giving people credit when they bring the alpha. Mm-hmm. Yes, here it is. All right. So in our Discord, again, this is why we say sign up for the free Discord. is Indica Wolf, before we went live, posted this. So as of right now, for every 1,000 VE arrow that you have and vote, as of right now, you're going to get 78.8 lit key. I don't know how much lit key is going to be worth. It might be worth a fraction of a cent. It might be worth a couple of dollars. I don't know. But you're going to get a free 78.8 for every 1,000 votes. Me personally, I have just over 10,000 votes. So I'll get 780? Is that right?
Yeah. Because that's 1,000. Yeah. 10x.
Yeah. So I'll get 780, around there. I'm sure more people will vote for it, up until, tomorrow. So, I might get like 700. So, but again, if it's worth $1 when it launches, that's $700. It might be worth,
and that unlocks immediately, right? That's
no, it's
right
like
away.
As soon as you vote for it, it takes about 30 minutes to an hour after 4 p.m. Pacific. Then it will actually show up to where you can cash it out and swap it and do all that stuff. Basically, the epoch has to end and reset. So something to keep an eye on. So shout out to Indica Wolf. Jay's always bringing the alpha too. Oh, of course, Indica. Man, freaking, if you guys are dropping the alpha, I'm going to make sure that you guys get credit for it.
Yeah.
Yes, Jay, voting has gotten more interesting.
And that's a great way to incentivize people to use the protocol and your platform and provide liquidity and just that's great to see.
All right. So I'm not going to get into that. If we have the time, I want to drop what XRP holders would call FUD, but facts about XRP. I'm going to save it to the end. I don't want to, get sidetracked. So we'll come back to that. So I'm just going to go over really quick some posts on Base, and just I want to frame how pivotal and what a big deal this Base app that's launching here in the next couple of weeks, the middle of November, what a milestone it's going to be for crypto, DeFi and crypto adoption, and removing the barriers to entry for the average person, not like myself and Jeff and most of you out there that are very steeped in crypto and how to use wallets and how to use the protocols and how to enter pools because you've been watching the channel and you've been doing this for a while. There is 20 million or more people that are on Coinbase that I can pretty much guarantee 80 to 90% of them don't know how to use DeFi. And they would love to. I mean, if they could log on to the app and see, oh shit, I can earn 10% of my USDC, or I can take out a loan on my Bitcoin, or I can enter this pool with my Arrow and earn 30%. Just every single year, I can earn 30% on my Arrow. I mean, people are it's going to blow their mind. And so I don't think people understand. Yes, Binance is huge. Aster blew the hell up just because Binance was pushing it. There was no, carpool lane or express lane that Binance had done to onboard their people to make it, remove those barriers to entry for people to use Aster. Coinbase is using the new Base app that's going to be launching to streamline that process to where people can just log on to their Coinbase account and with a couple of clicks of a button, use the liquidity that's in their Coinbase account.
Yep.
And yeah, just
there's an
like
earn
that.
feature. There's a swap feature, and you can go like swap or into earn, and Aerodrome is right here, and you can connect your wallet that's linked to it, or
dude,
you can,
go ahead. No, I've been talking enough. You go ahead. Like actually show some of because because I hate your face, by the way.
So I got access to the Base app, and it's basically like just a revamped version of the Coinbase wallet. And
hate
so there's, the little homepage that has different features. I know you can't, it's probably a little blurry, but actually, let me turn this virtual background, might be blurring it. So there's, different sponsored posts, trending swaps on base that you can find. There's creator stuff down here, like NFT mints that are popular. But there's the web browser right here that has the top apps. You have swap, earn, social, manage, listen, bridge, and spend. So Aerodrome is right there, and you can go, do your swaps. Let me see. Yeah, there's swap, liquidity, all the features from Aerodrome. And if you, right here, where is it at? Oh,
And then you got the Coinbase card that allows you to, from your Coinbase account,
4%.
you can actually freaking use your crypto. So, there's your off ramp. You have your on ramp, depositing your funds onto Coinbase. You can earn, you can trade, you can do all of that on Coinbase. And
Oh, someone froze. Come back. Oop,
Jeff, there you go. You're back.
you disappeared.
Oh, I disappeared? Oh, okay. It was
You were
me.
like, you were like, and
No, but basically what I'm saying
card.
is with Coinbase, you can deposit your dirty fiat, you can invest in crypto, you can earn with DeFi, and with the Coinbase card, you can spend. It is a one-stop shop. You don't need to learn how to, go on to Aerodrome. And, if you want to get into an Aero USDC pool, you don't have to figure out how much Aero and how much USDC you need to enter the pool and all those things. You just, like Jeff was just showing you just click on it. You say, I want to, just like you do on VFAT. I want to, deposit this much liquidity. If it's Aero, if it's Bitcoin, if it's USDC, I want to deposit this much liquidity into this pool. Click, click, boom. You're in.
Yeah, and there's a feature in the wallet that says cash out, right? And you can cash out and connect your Coinbase account right here. So you don't even have to leave the wallet to have your funds transfer. And also, when you sign up, you can choose to have a pass key or a passcode that you don't need your seed phrase. So you just have your pass key linked to your phone, and it's that easy. These people don't have to worry about putting a 12-word phrase and keeping it hidden, and it removes that barrier to entry, which is very important if you're going to onboard boomers especially.
Oh yeah. And Victor, honestly, I don't know. I doubt it. The Coinbase card is probably for U.S. customers. That could change. That's going to depend on regulation. They're in the UK, or wherever you're at in Europe. I think you were saying like Amsterdam or Brussels, something like that. So one of those places over there. That's probably really cool to visit. So what else we got? So
I'll check on that for him.
Yeah. Oh, I appreciate it, Jeff. So new in the base app, upgraded asset pages. See holders, liquidity, charts, and more at a glance. So it looks like that you're going to be able to, like, say that you want to look at Morpho. Somebody was just saying that, Morpho is undervalued. Absolutely. We can take a look at Morpho here in a minute. But if you look at the amount of liquidity that's on Morpho and what its market cap is, it is obscene. There is a huge gap between the fact that Morpho is already on Coinbase, where you can take out Bitcoin loans, loans on your Bitcoin. You can lend it, you can borrow against it, all those things already on Coinbase. and the amount of liquidity that's on Morpho compared to its market cap is just insane to me. And I want you all to understand, potentially, it's not a guarantee, but potentially, and we're already starting to see it. If you go over to, let's go over and look at Mammo, Aerodrome. So we're already starting to see Aerodrome. Like almost everything's in the red today, except you see Plasma is up 6%. But if you look at Mammo is up 7%. Avantis on the week is up 12%. You got Aerodrome that's up 9.2% today and 24% over 7 days. You have, where's Morpho at? Morpho, it's only up 4% on the week, but in a sea of red, I mean, you're going to start seeing these base plays, especially over the next 2 weeks. Even if you just want to do like some short-term trading, it might be a good idea to put in some small longs on some base plays, especially things like Aerodrome and stuff like that are 60%, around 60% of the volume on the base chain. Might not be a bad play. I'm not a trader. This isn't financial advice. Just something you might want to think about. So what I was saying is, according to this, you're going to be able to basically click on a project like Aerodrome. You'll be able to see who's holding it. You'll be able to see, how much liquidity it has. You'll be able to look at all the charts. You'll be able to look at a bunch of data and analytics on the project. I mean, they might even have like the tokenomics. They might have, a lot of these things that we do when we do, our deep dives. They might have some of that stuff in there. So this is just getting started, and that is why I'm so excited about this there is so much that is right out the gate going to be offered, with this app. I can't wait to get my hands on it. You got dropping agents into group chats. You can, AI agents. It's watching BankerBot go completely viral on Base app today. It's so cool to see. Builders don't realize yet that Base chat unlocked distribution by letting anyone drop agents into their chats by simply adding the plus or add button. So this opens all kinds of possibilities, to be able to use AI chatbots and just AI bots in general. I mean, I can only imagine where that's going to go, and I won't go down that rabbit hole because, to be honest, I haven't really done a whole lot of research on it. I mean, I know Mammo. Mammo is. I guarantee you, Mammo is going to be in there. Mammo is a base play, and it's an AI. Basically an AI bot built on virtuals. So virtuals.
Yep.
If you're bullish on AI bots and AI virtuals, it's been moving lately too. Music.
Yep. I
rights.
searched for it. I searched
yep.
for Mammo, and it came up right in there.
You go.
So
that's why Mammo is moving right now. Music rights. So intellectual property marks a new chapter on the on-chain economy. From your favorite songs to timeless catalogs, culture now flows at base speed. Sign in, explore, collect music rights one catalog at a time. So you can actually, because of tokenized music, up and coming artists, if they tokenize their music, you can actually buy a share, or like say that they tokenize it and there's 10,000 tokens for like a song or an album, and you buy some of them. Any revenue that's generated from that, potentially, depending on how they structure it, you could get revenue, for kind of crowdsourcing or crowdfunding their music. So there's a lot of really cool, or maybe they'll just be airdropping you merch, maybe like NFTs or something like that, like limited edition NFTs.
Oh yeah, a few years ago, that this artist Blau, he did a whole collection with one of his albums, and they gave away some special edition ones, and Yeah,
Hmm.
it was pretty cool.
Yeah. Or maybe if you own, if you own enough, or maybe they airdrop you an NFT to go to their concert. You get free
Yeah.
tickets. There's a
Hmm.
lot of different things people don't realize. The tokenization of real world assets just opens so many possibilities, and it's so advantageous. It really democratizes a lot of industries that have been very top heavy. The music industry is terrible. Indie
Oh, yeah.
movies. People that like AI movies. I've seen a lot of really cool AI movies that
Oh,
people have made recently. I watched a couple that were based on Halo and stuff like that. Um, People could tokenize that, and basically so you can help fund that. There's just a lot of really cool stuff that just opens up different faucets of creativity. Arcadia Finance, something that we haven't talked about in a while. Some say DeFi isn't what it used to be. Then again, some haven't tried Arcadia. So I guess we could watch this real quick. Yeah, let's start it over. Enjoy curated strategies, leveraged LPs as collateral. There's a lot of cool functionality on Arcadia.
wow. All the pools.
And you can actually leverage against pools that you're in. Yeah, leverage LPs as collateral. So you can be in a
Ooh.
liquidity pool, and you can actually use it to to take out leverage. I mean, there's a lot of really cool functionality that Arcadia has. It's
No shit.
honestly been very overlooked. I actually have some AAA. That's the token. I actually have some staked on Arcadia, and I have for a couple months now, just earning. It hasn't got a whole lot of traction yet, but it's kind of one of my long shot plays.
That's the token, AAA or
Yeah,
AAA?
yeah. Venice, one that you haven't heard many people talk about. That's another AI play, um, featured on the new base app. This one was kind of
Mhm.
cool. Wasabi Protocol, earn while you trade. Your stables on Wasabi aren't just earning yield, they're powering your trades. Now you can margin trade directly inside Wasabi on the base app. The base trenches at your fingertips. So it looks like that potentially my guess would be that your USDC that's sitting on the platform that isn't being traded with, that you can earn yield on that. So another way to if you're not actively in a trade, you can be earning still.
Damn.
Um,
That's great. Because if it's just sitting there and you don't want to spend the time to just put it in and out of a liquidity pool, if you can just have it earn while it's sitting there, I feel like that's powerful.
let's check this out. Damn,
Whoa.
cross chain, free gas. Dude,
That's cool.
and it's non-custodial. Dude, we need to look at Glider.
There we go. Shit.
Dude,
Yeah.
I'm not kidding, dude. That looks sick.
Glider
I
Fi.
mean, being
Yep.
cross chain, to where basically you don't need to bridge, and or I don't want to assume that you don't need to bridge, but basically you can have liquidity on multiple chains and be able to access it within Glider. And it looks like that you could build out maybe automations. And I'm just speculating because I haven't even looked at this at all. But
Yeah,
it
it just
looks like
opened
you
up
could.
today.
What's
To
that?
everyone. We're now open to everyone starting on base. That was 14 hours ago on their
Okay,
website.
maybe let
Yep.
me see if I'm following him. Okay, nope, I'm not. I'm gonna freaking do a deep dive on that. They already got
Yeah.
73,000 followers. Yeah. No, we need to add this to our deep dive. Maybe
Yep.
we'll do that on Friday. But there is just so many freaking cool protocols and applications that are on, they're being built on the base network. People, they keep chasing these narratives, and it's great in the short term. If you want to take advantage of narratives and trade the narratives and make money, awesome. But if I cannot stress it enough, I mean, for me, there's a giant neon sign on the wall that's just flashing. For DeFi and RWAs, it's just flashing base network. ETH
Hmm.
mainnet, unfortunately, but base network. And just cheap, cheap gas, easy to use, just easy onboarding. There's plenty of adoption, and it's about to just go on steroids, as soon as it goes live on Coinbase, and those 20 million people, have access to it. It's just, and then you figure, if we actually get an alt season and we get a flood of retail, their first experience to crypto and DeFi is going to be this smooth, seamless experience that we all dreamed of, since we got into crypto and got into DeFi. All this stuff that people in our community are always struggling with and having to ask questions and how do I do this and how do I do that and how do I get liquidity over here and how do I bridge, just all these different questions they have. You're not going to need any of that. You're just going to be able to deposit your fiat and start investing.
Hmm. And no gas? Fuck. It's like, oh, I need what token for a payment? Like
Yep.
people will understand like, oh, I have to pay a transaction fee and then you have to get Ethereum and oh, I need to swap on here, but I can't swap, if you don't have Ethereum. So
Yeah.
it's a mess.
All right, so I threw a little bit of plume alpha in here because we haven't talked
Ah.
about plume in a while. So upcoming staking benefits on Plume Network. So you can stake Plume. It's not it's not very juicy, but I think it was like 5 or 6% last I looked. But as Plume Network continues to evolve as the foundational infrastructure for real world asset finance, and the staking program will soon introduce a new set of benefits designed to deepen community participation and align incentives across the ecosystem. So, unlock ecosystem revenue. Stakers will gain access to real yield generated from applications and protocols operating within the Plume ecosystem. So, those 200 plus dApps that are either live or being developed, potentially you're going to, if you're staked, you're going to earn revenue from that rather than just relying solely on token emissions. So, right now, that's why you only earn like 5 or 6%, is that's purely token emissions. So soon you're going to be able to earn yield off of everything. So all the RWAs that are being traded, on Nest, on Rooster, and all these different things, potentially those fees are going to be shared with you if you stake. Rather than in the success and growth of the broader Plume economy. Priority allocations. Participants who stake will receive priority access to new token launches, partner integrations, and ecosystem campaigns. This ensures that dedicated community members are among the first to engage with emerging opportunities. So if there's new token launches on the Plume network, then you'll get early access. So before potentially before
Mm.
airdrops, before the token generation event, all those different things, or it's out for the general public to buy the token, you'll get early access, to those, that project and that token. Super bullish. Governance participation. Staking will also serve as the foundation for decentralized governance. This is nothing new, on other chains. Stakers will earn voting power, so just like Aerodrome and things like that, granting them the ability to propose, uh, deliberate, and decide on the key directions of the Plume network, from protocol upgrades to ecosystem funding initiatives. A more active form of ownership. Through these upcoming benefits, Plume is redefining what it means to be a network participant. Stakers will not only earn yield, but also gain influence and early access, creating a holistic framework where economic alignment, opportunity, and governance converge. So, something that's I think that's, for me, that's very bullish on Plume, because I plan on round tripping part of my Plume back, and so I would love to be able to put it somewhere where I can passively earn and at the same time get these benefits, to where I can
Hmm.
earn but get early access to new projects, things like that.
Yeah, and the price is a little discounted right now too. So um, for those interested, yeah, and Arrow
Absolutely.
has been having a nice little run the past month.
It has, and I mean those that were with us, after everything took a dump, Arrow went from like $2.20. At one point, it was down to like 30 cents or 34 cents. And a lot of people were panicking and, getting fudded out and selling. And I personally, I haven't sold a single Arrow token. And I know a lot of the people in the community were asking me, hey, what are your thoughts on Arrow? Are you still bullish on Arrow? And those that listened, I have a very strong suspicion that if they were buying through this dip, they're going to be very, very happy. Because if you were buying, in that 30-cent range, you've already tripled your money. So, if it
Hmm.
goes back up to $2.20, you're going to be looking, almost 10x. If it keeps going up to, like, $3, a little over $3, you're looking at a 10x. And I don't think it's going to stop at $3. I personally could see Arrow, especially with the base app, I could see it going conservatively to $5 plus.
Oh
So
yeah,
there,
yeah,
there's
especially
still,
with
yeah,
them bringing on, making it easy to use. Dang.
yeah, Jay,
Yeah.
I feel the same way, brother. I'm not selling at these levels. Not a fucking chance in hell. Hey, what up, Boosted? Haven't seen you in a minute. So what else? What else? What else I got?
Oh, the Coinbase One card. It is only available in the U.S. For Coinbase One members, but the actual standard Coinbase card, which is the debit card, is available in the U.S. and 29 European countries. But it's not. You don't get cash back for the debit card. That's just the for spending crypto. But the
Mm-hmm.
Coinbase One card, you have to have the membership, and that's where you earn up to 4% Bitcoin back on purchases.
Dude, I've already earned a couple $100 in Bitcoin, and all I did,
Ooh.
all I did was about a month and a half ago was I switched all of my bills, like my cell phone bill and all the stuff that I could to
Hmm.
basically pay with my Coinbase card, and I get my groceries, my gas, just all the stuff that I was gonna spend money on anyway. I use it instead, and I just have it set to where it
Hmm.
just pays off, the whole thing each month. Because, like I said, I mean, it's all money I was, gonna spend anyway. So now I'm earning, right now I'm earning 2.5%, because you have to have, I believe it's 200,000. It's tiered. But to max out, it's like 200 or
Mm.
250,000 of liquidity on Coinbase you have to have. So,
Oh, shit.
once,
Okay.
if we ever get an alt season, and, I'll have enough on there to be getting 4%. And it's just one of my many strategies to stack free Bitcoin. Mamo, I'm earning free Bitcoin. The Coinbase card, I'm earning free Bitcoin. And I have a couple other things where I'm just each day, I'm earning like 50 cents or $1 or something like that. But you know,
Mm-hmm.
a one play. If I'm earning $30 a month on that, I'm earning another $30 a month on something else, and a couple $100, using the Coinbase card. That's $300-400 a month in free Bitcoin for
And it'll
nothing.
appreciate. Yep.
And that goes up in value.
Yep.
Absolutely. You really need to rewire your thinking for a long-term mindset. I mean, there's a reason why I live like a hermit out here, out here in the woods. And I really make it a point to not spend a whole lot of money, because I understand that depriving myself of, a lot of the things, going and buying, $8 coffees and, things like that. I
Mm-hmm.
drink coffee here at home or tea here at home. It's, if you can deprive yourself and have the discipline to, put an extra $100 or $200 a month into Bitcoin or some of these investments, then over time, that $200 could be $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000.
Mm-hmm.
And then what you can do with that, it just, it compounds. It's that compounding yield to where it just grows and grows and grows. And one day you're going to wake up and it's going to change your whole financial future, is the way I look at it. It's just, it's, I'm not quite sure how to phrase it. And I really hope that it's, kind of landing with you all, how important it is to understand the opportunity that we have. I know the markets are rough. I mean, my portfolio, it took a hit too. At one point I was at $100,000. Right now I'm sitting at about 60. I haven't been in DeFi for the past couple of months. I just got back into it. I decided to put about 5 or 10% of my portfolio, back into DeFi, just because I'm tired of waiting for the alt season. And so I'm earning, about $100, about $100 a day, $75 a day.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a free $75 a day, just sitting here, finding alpha for you all, and, taking care of the Discord, and, I'm going out and doing chores and, doing whatever. It's not a lot of money, but $75 a day. Well, we'll say 100, $100 a day, times 30, that's $3,000 a month.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm
And
only using, I think I'm using about $6,000 worth of liquidity. So about 10% of my portfolio. And I'm
not
making
bad.
$3,000 a month off of it. So, in 2 months, 2-3 months, I'm doubling my money every 2 or 3
You,
months.
and you can compound that or roll it into
Yeah.
other plays, and like you did
Hmm.
with the arrow lock, you can roll it in and vote on these tokens that you might get incentivized in an airdrop. That'll get you $500 to $1,000 depending on what it is. So there's
Hmm.
all kinds of ways that you can, and that's some of the key things that you got to take from Mike's strategies is, you and you just never know, because he's gotten airdrops that he didn't even have a clue about, but
I didn't do
people in the
shit.
Discord were like, "Hey, go check this out, go check that out." Oh, you might have this airdrop. Like, oh fuck, let me see. So he's using the
Most of them
protocol.
I heard from, people like Jay and Indica Wolf and, uh, Crypto. I think Crypto Stevo might have turned me on to one. There's been a couple
Hmm.
of people. Our Discord is great. I fucking love all of you in there, because, yeah,
Yep.
there. Pretty much every airdrop I've gotten, our Discord has turned me on to. Yeah. I mean, I'm steeped in, on crypto Twitter and, trying to find alpha all the time, but airdrops are not my thing. But, they Base makes it easy. And I highly suspect
Hmm.
that the new app will probably have some kind of feature in there that is gonna, be like an airdrop finder or something. I mean, I'd be willing to bet that there'll be something in there. And my arrow locks are at the center of all that. a lot of people, faded me on those, arrow locks because they're like, oh, you're going to lock up your arrow for 4 years and, you're going to regret that. And, if arrow pumps, you're not going to be able to sell it. And yeah, it's a long-term play. I fully understood that. And I didn't know there was going to be airdrops and stuff, but look, it paid off. I've made over $1,000 off of, at the time I put $2,500 because Arrow was 50 cents at the time. I put in $2,500 into a lock. I got an airdrop of $1,600 or wait, 1,600 Arrow, and now that 5,000 initial, and then in 2,600. So it was roughly 7,500. So with a 7,500 initial, I now have about almost 11,000. Plus, I've gotten like 2 or 3 airdrops. Plus, a bunch of other tokens that that I've each week since I've started manually voting that I've used to open new sell and open new pools and do other things. And I mean, it's basically my arrow locks have been one of my best performing tools to generate yield to open other pools, to be honest. I mean, it just, it gives me a bunch of dust that adds up over, 4 or 5 weeks. And then I sell it all and I have a couple $100 to open another pool or, do something else with whenever there's dips. So I don't know. I'll never get out of DeFi.
Powerful, man.
I'll never get out of DeFi. I fucking love it.
It's better than the banks being the service because they're shady as fuck. And you're providing a service to people and getting rewarded for it. And that's what we need more of, is us as a collective and not the banks and institutions running the show. So
absolutely. Oh, we ready for some XRP FUD?
Oh yeah, the XR plebs.
All right, earmuffs. If anybody out there is holds XRP and they're overly sensitive, now this is your. I'm going to give you a couple seconds to look away, put your earmuffs on, whatever you need to do to deal with it. And this, I do not hate people that hold XRP. I definitely don't sell all of it. Hold a moon bag if you want. I am just pointing out, I have learned about XRP for over 5 years now. I was in the top 2% of holders. I held 40,000 XRP all through the bear market. I held it up to $2. I sold it because Ripple was coming out with RLUSD. I've said it a million times. The writing was on the wall. Them launching a stable coin, it was the beginning of the end for the narrative of XRP as a bridge asset. There are still very unique cases where XRP on the XRPL is still used as a bridge asset. However, there is not mass adoption that's going to warrant XRP being this massive, $1,000, $10,000 valuation. It's just not there. Banks and institutions, and I'm not the only one saying this, do your research. Banks and institutions told Ripple and anybody and everybody, and I'll play something here in a second, they do not want to use a volatile asset, no matter how expensive it is, to move value. If you try to move $1 billion, and you've seen how charts move, how the price of XRP moves. If it moves even 1%, if you're moving $1 billion and it moves 1% at any point during that transaction, you just lost. If it goes down 1%, you just lost $10 million out of that 1 billion. Banks and institutions will not go for that. Mm-mm. They are not, if there's a major acquisition happening and a corporation is being bought and they're sending, $100 billion to buy some company or $10 billion or whatever, they're not going to take a chance of even 1% of that disappearing in the transaction. It's not going to happen. Wake the fuck up. That is why Ripple themselves made RLUSD a stable coin. That is why their focus is there. And the majority of the value being moved is being moved with RLUSD. And I'm about to show you the data. So here is Ripple USD, RLUSD, their stablecoin. 80% of it, actually 88% of it, is on the Ethereum mainnet, which means it doesn't use XRP at all, not even for gas. There is 12% of the RLUSD in existence is on the XRP ledger. Doesn't mean it's being used. I mean, I'm sure it is to an extent, but there's a reason why the 88% of the RLUSD is on Ethereum mainnet, because that is where the value is being moved, not on the XRPL. Now, if that changes, and the XRP ledger explodes, and the adoption explodes, then of course some of that could get bridged back over. But you have to look at the data. Now, if you scroll down, you can see Ethereum, the token supply in the past month on the Ethereum mainnet, the RLUSD has gone up 12.2%. What else we got here? 11% on the amount of holders, 13.5%, and 32.7% in volume on ETH. What do we got here? A little bit of growth on holders on the XRPL, a little bit of bridge supply. That's actually good for the XRP ledger. And it looks like they might have minted some. I'm guessing that a lot of this was due to mints. So they must have had some more liquidity come on, and potentially, like the rest of this, it's probably going to get bridged over to Ethereum mainnet, because that is where a lot of the tokenized assets lie, is on Ethereum mainnet. But let's take a look at this.
Ripple is about to take over Swift, or at least 14% of it. Or it's launching a stablecoin. Or maybe it's becoming a bank. Or maybe everyone will be forced to use it. That's the dream, right? But here's the reality. Tom Chalk, Chief Innovation Officer at Swift, made it clear.
The financial world doesn't live under a single chain's umbrella.
And on XRP's so-called bridge asset narrative, Tom asked the question that ends the debate.
Will banks ever outsource settlement finality to a token that isn't a deposit, isn't regulated money, and doesn't sit on their balance sheet?
The answer is obvious. No bank is going to gamble trillions on an external token it doesn't control or trust. And why would they? As Tom points out,
if tokenized deposits and regulated stablecoins scale, why would banks pay a toll to an external asset when they...
Boom. That right there is what I've been trying to tell people for months, almost a year now. And I know Drew over the blockchain basement and some people over there have been saying the same thing. I think Kelly's mentioned it a couple of times, is why the hell would a bank or an institution or an individual for that matter? I've said it a million times. If Jeff was in Dubai, if he was in the middle of sub-Saharan Africa and he was like, dude, I got robbed. I need a couple $100 to pay for my hotel room. I could send him, USDC instantly from my wallet to his, bing, bang, boom, done. I don't need to use XRP and go through the process of, buying XRP, sending it, and then him getting it, and then him selling it into USDC, and again, hoping that the value doesn't change, in the process of me buying it and sending it, him getting it, exchanging it, and, going through all these processes. I can just buy USDC and send it. It stays the same value, no matter what. It's pegged. I buy it. It's, one USDC is worth $1. I send it. It stays $1. Jeff gets it. it's still worth $1. And then he uses it and it's still worth $1.
Mm-hmm.
Why do they need XRP? They don't. Ripple and XRP was developed years ago, way before there was a bunch of different stable coins, and there was stable coin legislation. There was, crypto adoption. Governments were drafting legislation. And at that time, it was revolutionary. It's why I bought it. Because I was like, yes, there is a major pain point that, it takes weeks sometimes for, money to be sent, cross border. It used to be expensive as shit. And sometimes the money got lost. It was a real thing. And and I was very bullish on it. However, as stable coins became more mainstream, as the Genius Act got passed, that stable coins are, legal tender basically. And, as long as they're in compliance, as long as they're backed 1-to-1 with the US dollar or US dollar equivalent, a treasury bill. So that is what people need to understand. It's not FUD. Pull your head out, dust off from where your head's been. And I'm not saying this to be insulting. I'm saying this because I was there and I had to snap myself out of it. Drew actually helped me a little bit because, he was the one that kind of got my wheels turning on this and made me dig deeper because I was in an echo chamber. I was listening to, good group of guys, but Good Morning Crypto and, a lot of those other, channels that just constantly talk about XRP and they're super positive all the time. And, it just feels good to be in there and you're with people, like-minded people. And you're, everyone's just patting you on the back and we're the XRP army and we're all going to, beat up on our yachts, and it's just, it's great. It feels good. It's a cult. I'm just going to say it. That's what a cult is it's a bunch of people that think alike that, it can be a healthy cult and it can, you can end up drinking poison Kool-Aid. It can go a lot of different ways. But my point is do your own research. Don't take my word for it. Do your own research. But even Ripple knows the writing's on the wall. That is why RLUSD took over a lot of XRP's utility as the bridge asset. It took over pretty much everything other than its utility as gas. There is no reason for XRP to be a high valuation at all. It doesn't matter how you spin it. At the beginning of this, when it was talking,
Can settle.
Or at least 14% of it. Or it's launching
one narrative was if it even takes over 14% of Swift transactions, you're going to be a billionaire.
Stablecoin. Or maybe it's becoming a bank.
They created RLUSD, so they had a stable coin. So that was bullish.
Maybe everyone will be forced to use it.
Yeah, I've heard where it's going to be the new US dollar. I've heard where the government's going to try to seize your XRP. It's going to be so valuable the government's going to try to seize it like gold. I've heard so much hype.
That's
on
so
Twitter.
funny.
It's just mind numbing. And I feel like I'm screaming into a void. And it's actually kind of cool. I've actually had people start to reach out to me on Twitter that have been thanking me. And they're like, you know what, dude, you woke me up.
Shit.
You snapped me out of it. One guy today was like, I still have a small bag just in case. I'm like, awesome. Keep 10%, 20%, whatever. I'm talking to the people that are all in on XRP because they're convinced it's going to $100 or $1,000 or $10,000. Those are the people I'm talking to. Diversify. Keep 10 or 20% just in case I'm wrong. I don't think I am. In fact, I know I'm not. But just in case. And get into some of these other projects at these prices. Because some of these, like Chainlink is positioning itself to be the hub of interoperability for DeFi, TradFi, you name it. In fact, let's keep watching this. I'll stop yammering.
Dream, right? But
Token that isn't a deposit, isn't regulated money, and doesn't sit on their balance sheet.
the answer is obvious. No bank is going to gamble, control, or trust. And why would they? As Tom points out,
If tokenized deposits and regulated stablecoins scale, why would banks pay a toll to an external asset when they can settle directly in instruments they already control and trust?
that's the end of the bridge token dream. No single blockchain can swallow global finance. Not XRP, not Avalanche, not even Ethereum. Because the real coordination layer, the air traffic control of finance, must sit above all chains and ledgers. And that's exactly what Swift is already building with Chainlink CCIP, not as a dream, not as speculation, but as the neutral standard connecting the entire global financial system. Ripple sells hope. Swift's own CIO just told you the truth. There will never be a bridge token. There will only be a bridge network, and that network is Chainlink.
Follow the
Damn.
link, Panda, for more.
Boom.
Mic drop.
Dude. I mean, they said it pretty simply. That's the long and the short of it. I mean, I can go on and on about it, and I can bring up data and facts. A lot of the stuff that I say is off Ripple's own website. You know, of course, they wordsmith it very carefully to where they don't actually, call out, XRP losing utility. But the writing's on the wall. You know, if you are educated on the topic, and I find it really hard to believe some of these, influencers that are all in on XRP. I know that there's a lot of them that are smart enough that they understand this, and it makes me wonder, how it is that they have, how it is. I don't want to say that they can afford, because it's not like it costs a lot, but a lot of these guys obviously make a lot of money, and I'm sure it's not just from their channel. And so it makes me wonder, because the whole time that, XRP is being hyped, it's being sold off, especially by Ripple. And that's how they're buying, acquiring a lot of these companies. Because, I mean, Ripple's going to probably do fucking huge things. Don't get me wrong. Ripple itself, the company, is probably going to be around and do huge things. But that does not translate to XRP. XRP, everyone's like, well, why would they spend hundreds of millions of dollars, fighting the SEC if they didn't believe in XRP? It's because if XRP was found to be a security, then there would be a legally binding contract between holders and Ripple, the company, to where they have a fiduciary responsibility to basically for you to profit.
Mm-hmm.
They would have a legal obligation to you. They spent hundreds of millions of dollars so that there's no legal obligation to XRP holders. So now they can just dump XRP no matter what the value, with no legal ramifications. They can just keep selling XRP for billions of dollars and buying all these companies that you all think is so bullish for XRP. And all the while, they launched RLUSD, which took over a lot of the functionality of XRP. They launched RLUSD on ETH mainnet, which doesn't use XRP at all. You need to understand how this works, because if you don't, and you don't take advantage of the profits that you've made, at least take profits, because otherwise you're going to be exit liquidity for people that are smart enough to sell.
Yeah, Haven Peg. Okay, I'll buy a little more Link. Dang. And Jers. Buy more Link.
Jers. XRP to 10,000.
Sells hope. Sorry, Maxis. Yep.
No, and like I said, I do not mean this to bash on anybody. I I was one of you. I was there. I believed all the hype. And again, it was somebody snapped me out of it. Drew snapped me out of it and got me to dive deeper and to really not just listen to the alpha that was spoon fed to me. I actually went, and that's kind of what got the channel started. Was I started doing deep dives into the projects I was invested in, and I was amazed at what I found. I got out of a lot of them because of what I found. It's so important that you take the time, and if you don't have the time, do not invest in it. I don't care if me and Jeff tell you that it's a great project. You shouldn't just listen to us at face value. My risk tolerance and my goals are different than yours because I'm bullish. I mean, I've been bullish on Casper forever. Am I going to tell everybody to go out and buy it? No. That's why I don't talk about it a whole lot. Am I bullish on it personally? Absolutely. I still have a very large bag of it, earning 16%. But I'm not confident enough in it to be telling other people to go out and buy it. Link? Absolutely. Bitcoin? Absolutely. Arrow? Absolutely. Most of my base plays, I have no problem telling people that they're probably going to go up, especially with this new app that's about to come out and the access that people are going to have to those projects. These are the things that we need to keep in mind. Yeah, dude, that's something I fucking wonder all the time. These guys that are like all they do is just constantly go on and on about XRP. If XRP ends up going to, basically becoming nothing, yeah, what are they going to talk about? I mean, they know nothing about the rest of crypto. Like some of them, all they do is talk about XRP. And it's no wonder that there's all this made up shit and hypothetical, shit that floats around about XRP because there's nothing to talk about. They've talked about everything to death. The actual alpha they've talked about to death. So yeah, they got to make up stuff that, I have a friend that works at a major bank and I can't say who or what bank, but they're saying the switch is about to get flipped and the government's going to be using the Fed's going to be using XRP, and it's like, okay, yeah, wonderful. Great. Yeah. I'm sure that's, I'm going to, let me get a mortgage on my house so I can buy some XRP.
Yeah.
All right. So let me see if there's anything more. And then I'm going to shut up and let you talk because I have monopolized this stream. I think that's all I got.
No, and the base app was really the biggest thing. I was looking for, invite codes in here, but I don't see it available for me. And I don't know how these people were getting them, but I just got the email and if you ever get the email from Coinbase, go to coinbase.com and you can go to the help center and find out what email domains are legitimate. So that's what I did. I went to Coinbase and made sure to look in the help center and I looked at the email domains in case you think you're getting scammed and you can verify there. So I got an email today from some random, from some phishing email about a PayPal. It was some purchase that was made through the Apple Store using my PayPal account for a MacBook Pro. And I was like, I didn't have anything like that. So I knew immediately, like, this is a fucking bullshit email. So they're starting to send out a lot of, crazy stuff, man.
Yeah, you got to be careful. You got to be careful. But yeah, it's about all I got, man.
Oh yeah, I don't know if you know about the Gemini card. My ex messaged me the other day asking about the Gemini card because I think she's gonna apply for it. But you get 4% On gas, 3% restaurants, and 2% on groceries, and 1% everything else. There's no annual fee, but no sign-up bonus. And I told her about the Coinbase One card, but like I said, you have to have the membership, the Coinbase One membership. But I don't know much about the Gemini card, if anybody else. But I think it's just cash back. I don't know if it's actual crypto that you get. But if that's another option that people might be like, who was that said that they were in Europe, right? Amsterdam or Netherlands?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if you want to check that out. But I don't know much about where Gemini is available. But
Jay says, tell your ex to buy XRP.
Oh man, no, I don't want
I
to.
don't know if he wants to do her dirty like that, Jay.
No, we have a good we're still very cordial, so it's a it's not a crash and burn.
It's when possible, it's always best to break on good terms. There's really no reason to to break things off and be on bad terms.
Yeah. No one cheated on anyone, so that's good.
That's about the only thing that will make me. That's my only rule is don't cheat. If somebody cheats, usually I'll cut ties.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get mad. I don't freaking freak out. I'm just like,
you do you,
done.
boo boo.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you got anything else, brother? You got any closing thoughts?
Yeah, check out the DeFi Academy, the portfolio trackers and stuff, Metrics Finance, all the tools. You start for free, and if you find value in it, use it, and please let us know, so we can keep improving, because we want to improve on the stuff on the alpha that we bring to you. And it's join the Discord, because we've gotten a lot of free stuff, and check out DeFi Wise. We're bringing a lot of good shit for everyone out there that you're not going to find in a lot of spaces. So,
and one thing I will say, I mean, it's something that we're still working on. But my brother Taylor, he has his own law firm, and again, he specializes in estate planning, probate, elder law, Medicaid planning, family law, real estate, business tax consulting, personal injury. Great guy, one of the most freaking humble, generous dudes you'll ever meet. Great father, great husband, just really good dude. But I'm working with him. I want to eventually, I mean, right now he can only help people in Texas, just because that's where he's licensed, he's passed the bar there. But I want to see if there's a way that we can build a network of like trusted law firms in other states to where, again, all of our dreams are to make a bunch of money in crypto. But then what? How many of you out there, this is my closing thoughts. How many of you out there, everyone talks about, win Lambo, when you make, millions of dollars, then what? You're just going to spend it all? You're going to, DeFi it. Maybe you're going to do, whatever. Okay. But even like me, DeFiing it. Okay. Now I have capital gains tax, of 15, 20, 25% I got to pay. It's like, there's ways that you can get that down to income tax, levels, and it depends on where you're at, of what that is. But, there's a lot of different things you can do to where, you can basically start a business, you put your assets in the business, and then you are paid as an employee of that business. So basically, the money that you take out, you only pay income tax on, not capital gains. There's, different, vehicles that you can use. Roth IRAs and, things like that Bitcoin IRA that, Drew and Discover Crypto is always talking about. There's a lot of things out there, vehicles that you can use to make sure that you keep more of your money. These are all the things that we're trying to build out for you all. And again, it's 100%, we want all of you to be happy, successful, profitable. And, a lot of this, if my brother helps you, he might make some money off of it. It doesn't help me at all. It's not like I'm going to get a cut of that. It's, DeFi University. Yes, we make a little bit of money. If you sign up, it doesn't cost you anything. It's $97 for you. If you go sign up directly with them, it's $97 if you sign up through us. The only difference is that David gives us a little bit of that for introducing you to them. I like to be honest and transparent about this stuff. Mm-hmm. So, same thing with Metrics Finance. It costs you the exact same, unless we get you a discount. Then it costs you less. But Metrics Finance, same thing. It costs you the exact same if you go to them or if you just use our affiliate link. All it does is it helps support the channel. So again, we're going to be looking to get you some deeper discounts on those that will come out of our pocket, not theirs or yours. And then the newsletter. And like I said, the newsletter is going to be a work in progress, and it's really going to be, probably the Discord and the people subscribe to it. I'm going to be asking for input on things that they like, things that they don't use, so that I can fine tune it and make it more quality product. Because I really want it to be something that you can just first thing in the morning, you check your email while you're drinking your coffee on your phone or on your laptop or whatever. You can just look at it and you can decide, okay, yeah, I'm going to open along. I'm going to open.
Oh no. What happened?
All right. I think that's Starlink. I think that's Starlink telling me that I need to stop talking.
Oh, shit. I was like, oh shit, he's gone.
Oh, it is just Starlink. So I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all hanging out so long with us. I know this went long, like an hour and a half, but we got Black Ice, Haven Peck, Jay, Jers, Stan, Deadwood, and we got everybody in here, man. So appreciate y'all, Ricky. Appreciate y'all that show up for the show, and I hope this brought value to y'all. Really, the gist of this show was I'm bullish on Base. I'm bullish on Base protocols, and I can't wait to get my hands on the app, but I'm plussing up my bags. Aerodrome, Morpho, Moonwell, Avantis, Mammo, all of them. I am going to be stacking as much as I can, as fast as I can, as I have been. So with that, sell some XRP, buy some Base plays. Until next time, Veteran Crypto out.
Yes. Base. All up.